Hey everybody, welcome to my video today. So I'll be talking about my recent experience of applying for user research and junior product manager roles. So I'll give, I suppose, an insight into my process so far, outcomes of current job applications I've done, and lessons I want to take on board for next time. So it's more of an insight into people who are looking to transition from other careers to UX and product management based roles. So I've applied for a few roles over the past couple of months for user research roles and also for junior product manager roles. So this has been, I suppose, quite a long time coming in terms of understanding what I've wanted to go for the next steps within UX and product management. I've tried to redefine my CV from my previous CV, which is basically a personal statement, work experience, additional information and education and skills. I've now changed my CV somewhat just to change it to be more UX friendly. So I've tried to focus more on a biography of what I like and what I can bring to the table in terms of a candidate, my previous design skills and projects. So looking at when I'm writing about the project, understanding what my role was, how long the project was for, what the purpose of the project was for. So, for example, I was involved with a health and fitness brand, helping to redevelop their website to improve stickiness and to hopefully future-proof it for growth in the future. And I sort of write down what my role was. So I said again, like user researcher, but then also I got involved with creating discussion guides, looking at recruitment plans, understanding what key problems are, doing user interviews remotely, just breaking it down to see actually this is the task I've done. Since most of my projects have been, it's hard to find tangible results because it's all been voluntary. I've tried to emphasize what I've got out of it and actually show that is a way of actually, this is my efforts, this is what's happened with my efforts. So, for example, one project was voluntary and it led to more opportunities. So, for example, I got to do some teaching experience, and also I got a chance to actually get involved with other projects with this company. So it was more of a development of my own skill set. It's an investment in time and effort into improve myself in the long term. So I try to put a voluntary experience at the top and then highlight my work experience and look at relevant things within my work experience that could go back to my, I suppose, the job application I'm looking for. So I'm mostly focused on research, I focused on analysis, I focused on working in teams, a little bit of design skills, and try to highlight that within my CV, just so I can cross-reference that with both the product manager role and user researcher and design roles. Now, prior to that, I had no luck whatsoever because people didn't understand where my experience came from, how it related back to UX, and why I had a passion to go in towards from marketing to that industry. Oh, sorry, field, I should say, rather than industry. And I felt like my CV now reflects that. So ever since, I've gone from 0 to about 4 interviews in a week, which isn't too bad. That's pretty impressive, since I'm still a junior within this role. However, now the next hurdle is interviews, and I've recently come out of a few interviews. So the first one has been like the standard interview that I'm used to in terms of asking questions of my previous experiences, how this relates back to the job role, why I'm interested in applying for the company, what I can bring to the table, those sort of questions. The only problem I had this time around was task, and this is something I've faced before, and I've had to get involved with actually planning and understanding how to plan my tasks. So one of the interviews I had recently was to redesign a registration page. Now, for me, I've come from a bootcamp based background. I've also done my own voluntary experience. Although I'm building up my experience, I'm still trying to understand how UX works within a company-based format. So my approach was taking it from the bootcamp. So it was more about taking skills, get involved with a real project. and you realise actually that skill set is really good going into, you can transfer that into, but you learn more from going into a company and actually understand the processes and understanding how everything of the puzzle gets to that point, how a piece of the puzzle from the course works together. So, for example, looking at research, how that relates back to the business goals, how you utilise research from other aspects. So the quantitative, so looking at numbers, the qualitative, so for example, looking at the industry, looking at how competitors are doing it, what the aim of the product is. And these are things I failed to realise because I think for me the task was, I thought, oh, it's all about redesign. And that switched from myself being quite a deep thinker to go into the designer's phase. And I know that's not the right method I need to take on board. So if I was to take on board this task again, which hopefully I'll get another opportunity to do sort of thing, this sort of task to improve my self-company. So when I'm given a task like this, I kind of want to review what is particularly the company's asking for. So when they ask for a redesign, they're not just asking for a redesign of something. They want to know your thought process in terms of how you do it. So I'll take on board reviewing the first one with the initial product. So looking at understanding, again, UX theory, great. Then look at competitors, what competitors are doing, and actually say this is what competitors are doing. Then I'll come up with a research plan and understand, okay, then what needs to be researched, particularly within this product. So define key goals, key objectives, what is the main problem that we're facing, look at understanding how I'm going to research it. Is it going to be by user research? Is it going to be diary studies? Is it ethnographic? Particularly define what research I'm doing, write that down as a plan, then say the next step. So for example, I better go step back. Actually, it'd be good to define the branding, the business, and the product itself. So how each element of what I want to change relates back to the business, relates back to the industry, and relates back to what the product is trying to offer. And so I'll go back. Then I'll come back in terms of looking at doing workshop facilitation, understanding what's gained from the research, define key points, how through empathy maps, through infinity maps, through customer journey mapping, through creating persona, just defining particularly what I want to find out, and then move on to the next step, and then looking at redesign and come up with some few ideas, and then look at understanding what the main outcome of the changes will be. So I think for me this is still great taking notes from what the recruiter said. It's not a negative thing. I think for me it's been a really positive aspect to understand where I went wrong with the interview and what I went wrong with the task. So I'm going to take on board these notes, and then I think for me hopefully it will help with other aspects when I'm trying to learn more about UX and product management, just so I can take this on board to actually realise, take the theory and practice you've learnt from your private projects and actually learn, okay, and how am I going to adapt this within an organisation, either through work experience or just getting some insights from the company. So hopefully my video has been a bit of an insight for you in case you've gone through a similar situation. I think it's good to actually do these reflecting points to understand, okay, something's not turned out the way I wanted it to, but actually this hasn't been a bad thing. It's kind of been a good thing because actually I can work on it and understand I'm faced with this time round. How can I improve for next time? And actually, as you improve and as you get advice and how you get feedback, that's the only way you can improve. So thank you very much for listening, and I shall speak to you next time. Ciao for now.